Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez.
And I'm Kevin Friel. We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website. You can log on at www.town.barnstable.ma.us.
From tax classifications to the Barnstable Harbor Bulkhead, last Thursday's town council meeting covered a lot of territory. But one of the longest discussions of the night was between the council and DPW Director Mark Ells regarding the cleanup efforts around the huge December snowstorm. Ells explained the challenges of responding to such a storm and suggested some ways that the DPW will work to improve in the future.
In seeing the results of this most recent storm, if we're going to achieve the level of response that's being asked of us, we need to bring on even more vehicles. So what we're doing is we're expanding the geographic area that we're trying to bring these trucks in from, and we need the larger equipment to be able to do that. And this isn't for every storm. In the up to 12-inch storm, we do have an adequate set of resources out there to be able to respond and to meet those initial goals that I showed you on the second slide. This is in the larger storms that we need to be able to draw from a wider pool of contractors and be able to get out there and get to these secondary routes sooner. One of the challenges we have, though, is that when you get over a one-ton truck on a lot of these roads, it's very difficult. We've had lots of people calling this week about the damage to the sides of their roads, and especially in cul-de-sacs. A lot of these larger trucks can't maneuver through cul-de-sacs very well. So that's going to be a real challenge in trying to do this. And so we need to, almost road by road, section by section, go through and figure out which resources, if we're going to go with this larger approach, can best serve us so that we end up with an adequate response time and be able to not incur any unnecessary damage in doing that. We're also looking to expand, so we're in the process of doing that. You're going to see ads that go beyond the town of Barnstable. They're already being run. We're in communications with other public works departments. All public works departments have call lists, and they're the contractors that we utilize. We're talking with other departments, and you might say, well, if it's Falmouth, or maybe there are more trucks in Falmouth. Somebody just told me that tonight, but perhaps geographically, if we go a little further than maybe where the storm hits, we could call up Reading and say, hey, Public Works Director in Reading, do you have any contracts? And we would do this in advance, not during a storm event, and see if there are contractors who are interested in coming down. Now, it would take them time. They'd probably have to respond to what was going on, but if it's not a regional storm, perhaps we can bring in other resources to assist us in responding better, and we've already begun those discussions. And so, but the challenge there is that we're going to have people who don't know our roads. So with each opportunity comes something else that we will need to manage.
Later, the council turned to the annual tax classification public hearings. After defeating the idea of a split tax, the town council discussed a 20% residential property tax exemption for year-round residents. There was some dissension due to the extra charge it imposes on second homeowners, but ultimately the exemption was passed. Here, Councilor Hank Farnham weighs in with his version of the majority opinion.
For the first few years, I voted in opposition to this potential exemption for many of the reasons that two prior speakers stated. And then one day, someone suggested I ought to look in, back when I worked at the bank, we had books for all of the towns on the Cape that listed every property, who the owners were, where they were from, values, and all that stuff. And so I spent an afternoon going through the Barnstable book, looking at all the second homeowners there and where they came from and how many of them were from all these other various communities in Massachusetts. And I looked at, I actually went and was able to look up a couple of those to find out what they were paying, what their houses were assessed at, and what they were paying in taxes. And then it really burned me when I thought how much money the Commonwealth of Massachusetts gives to those communities in the way of reimbursements versus what they give to us. And I said, well, you know what? The hell with you folks. You're getting subsidized tremendously by the Commonwealth and what they refund to Wellesley, Newton, Springfield, Worcester. And guess what? The tax rate they pay on their home here on the Cape is about a third less, at least, than what they pay in those other communities. And I said, we're going to do our own transfer of taxes. This does help benefit us, and we're going to charge those people who have second homes here a more fair tax to help all the rest of the people who have the lower valued homes who really do benefit from this residential exemption. And I think if you look at Mr. Rudziak's chart that shows that, the valuation scale from, I think it was a 200,000 and up, the smaller homeowners, the people who probably need the relief the most, are the ones who benefit the most. So it's a slight diabolical way to equalize taxes between communities who benefit a hell of a lot more than we do from the state's big gift. And so that's why I'm going to vote for this again this year.
The council also voted to appropriate the final $525,000 needed to fund the replacement of the Barnstable Harbor bulkhead. This after Governor Deval Patrick announced last month that the state will fund up to $3.75 million of the project. But Town Manager John Klim warned the councilors that there are still challenges ahead, even with the funding secured.
I originally thought that the most difficult part of this job was getting the $3.75 million, and it was very difficult. Then after we got the $3.75 million, I thought that the most difficult part of this job was for Mark Ells to get the thing built. Now I'm of the belief that the real difficult job is Lynn Poyant and her staff to coordinate this whole event, and so there are a lot of things going on at once, and we have to do this as quickly as we can, but it won't work without the active participation of all of the stakeholders and the people that are involved. And so I need your assistance and your guidance as we go through, because this is going to be a very difficult, it seems like a relatively easy to go build a bulkhead, but it's a very difficult project. People are going to be impacted during the summer. We all know it. People are going to be upset. And so the best we can do is to bring people in as early as possible, and Dan Horn is already preparing an invitation for just us to begin a series of meetings of all the slip holders and stakeholders and whatever, similar to what we've done in the past. But I wanted you to know that we understand that this isn't going to happen in a vacuum, and it can't happen in a vacuum, and it's a complex process. We need your help, but I just want to tell you that our intention is very early on, as soon as possible in the next several weeks, we're going to start going, and there's going to be regular meetings with you, and I hope and expect that you'll play a leadership role, as you always have with this project, in anything else in your village. But it is our understanding. I mean, we're not just going to think we're just going to go build this thing and you people are going to find out what it looks like afterwards. It's just not going to be. It's going to be an open process. And people are going to be inconvenienced. You know it and I know it, and we're going to do the best job we can to get through this till it's completed.
And I know you feel as I do. If we involve them early on, then then they have a stake in it, and then they feel like they own the solution. So thank you.
From a busy town council meeting to a busy week of meetings for town boards and committees, let's take a look at this week's schedule. For Monday, January the 11th at 5 p.m., the Citizen Advisory Committee meets in the Town Hall hearing room, followed at 7 p.m. by the Comprehensive Financial Advisory Sewer Subcommittee hearing. Also at 7 o'clock, the Planning Board meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room. At 7:30, the Sandy Neck Board meets at the MEA Conference Room on Finney's Lane. For Tuesday, January 12th at 8 a.m., the Housing Committee meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room. At 8:30 in the morning, the Conservation Commission meets in the Town Hall hearing room. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Board of Health meets in the Town Hall hearing room. Then at 7 o'clock, the School Committee meets in the Town Hall hearing room. For Wednesday, January 13th at 7 o'clock, the Zoning Board of Appeals has a hearing in the Town Hall hearing room. Also at 7 o'clock, the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee meets at the West Barnstable Community Building on Route 149. There are no meetings scheduled for Thursday, January 14th or Friday, January 15th.
Well, that's all for now. For Kevin Friel, I'm Nick Cortez. We'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.